Hello all, I am going to do a few videos for you on constructing a 3D detail in Revit, okay? And you're going to immediately ask me and say, but I can do a 3D call out and will that suffice? And that depends on what level of detail you've modeled the building to. So if you take a look at this detail here, you can see it's very well worked up, very well noted and dimensioned. And if I turn on, if I give it a TL here on the keyboard, you can see it's got all the fabrics and everything else done and in place as well. Now, watch this though, okay? So I'm going to select, get in back in here and select everything. Okay, and I'll go into the filter here now. I'm going to check none, but I'm going to turn off detail items, dimensions, faces. These are all more or less 2D items, okay? All of these, I turn off the multicat tags, and I'll turn off the text notes, okay? And if I go apply, okay, and I come down to my hide element, and I just say hide those elements. Now, what you've got there is basically, that is the model. That is the raw cut version, if you like, of the model, and you can see that there is a lot of problems with that. That's a floor, a roof, walls, external, internal walls, and everything else like that. So if I was to do that 3D cut section, that's basically is what I'd have. And so what I'm going to do is show you a methodology whereby we can construct this detail in 3D, and it'll help us first of all investigate the sequence as to how it's built, the constructability as to the ease of which it can be constructed, and also to validate the detail, and particularly say this area here, which is a vulnerable area in terms of damp and of moisture getting into the building. Okay, so that is the reason why I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to reinstate. Now you can see we're back to this here. So what the first thing I need to do here is I'm going to turn off. I'm going to select all instances visible in the view, and I'm going to turn those off there, hide elements. Okay, we've got some text here. The ones I hid there were the multi-category tags. Okay, this is individual material tags, if you like, and we're going to select all of those in the entire project, and we're going to hide those elements too. Now, so this is what I'm left with here, and this is what I want to do. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a kind of a larger overall dimension here, okay, 405, because I'm going to use that as a reference. Now I'm going to center the detail, and I'm going to go into my Microsoft here, and I am going to go into my snip tool, and I'm going to take a new snip of this and something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to save this into my pictures. All right, I've got one made already, so I'll just call this detail 3. Save. All right, now, so that image is saved in there. What am I going to do next? All right, I'm going to open up a new file. So this is a whole new project. All right, it's a whole new project. And you can see I've renamed it Revit 3D detail number 2. All right, so I want to create a reference plane that's on the vertical that will allow me to work on a vertical direction. All right, so to do that, I'm going to go into my west elevation. Okay, now here are my my levels, if you like. So I'll go into architecture, I'll go into reference plane, and I'll just pick a point from here. Actually, yeah, that's fine. Okay, escape, select it again, and I'm going to call this is going to be detail 2 or EF. Okay, detail 2 or EF, and that's it there. Now I have got that done, so what I want to do is go into maybe my north elevation here. I want to set the reference plane, and it's going to say set the reference plane, and I'm going to hit the drop down box here. I'm going to pick our reference plane detail 2, Go OK, and now I'm going to hit show, and there it pops up like so. All right. Now you can pick this and you can change the grid spacing if you want to. I don't really need to do that. What I want to do is make sure that this is the active reference plane, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to my insert, import image. I'm going to pick my detail 2 and bring it in, and you can see it's quite large. So while it's still active like that, I'm going over to my scale tool. I'm going to zoom in here. Now I'm going to pick this intersection of all those points from there to there and to here, and then moving my mouse backwards, I'm going to type in 405, hit return, and you can see now that it is like so. So I'm going to bring this roughly over here. It's not absolutely essential where you put this. I want to know roughly where it is in terms of the grids and things like that. Now we can click out, and I'm going to double check and make sure I'm in the right ballpark here. So I'm taking a distance from there to there, and you can see it's 405.6. That's perfect. So it doesn't have to be absolutely pinpoint accurate, but as close as you can get it, and that's the way you would do that. All right. Now if I go, because I'm in a project, if I go into 3D, okay, and I'll do a zoom to fit, you can see nothing. All right. And that is one of the slight disadvantages of maybe doing this in a project as opposed to the conceptual massing editor or the family editor. Okay, but I still want to stick in the project for this particular exercise here. So not to worry, if you're a little bit scared of the open space there, you can hit VV on the keyboard, right? Go into annotation categories, and you'll find that the levels are turned off, so I can go OK. Now I can go zoom to fit. Now I've got my levels there. All right, so I know I'm roughly in this part here. Back to my north elevation. All right, now so we're going to construct this using our architecture component model in place. All right, these are the categories here. First thing we're going to do is some walls. So we're going to pick walls. And we're going to give this, now you need to name this properly, because we're going to be creating a lot of solid items here. So this is going to be my CLT wall V and O01. Okay, I'm doing O01 because I did create one before and I don't want to confuse anything. So I'll go OK. Now you can see my forms are over here, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you've got 5 solid forms and their corresponding 5 void forms, and that is the vast majority of Revit families are created just using these 5 tools here. Okay, in our case we're going to do an extrusion. Now here's my CLT. You can see that, right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I divide that by 5, I get 30, isn't that right? So these are 30 mil. So I'm going to do my first profile, okay, at 30 mil. So I'll come across from there to there, 30, all the way down here, okay, to there, come across 30, and then we'll go back up. Right, now there's my profile. I'm going to hit escape once, okay, twice. Now this is the extrusion start and the extrusion end, so you got to imagine that this is 0, and if I want this to come out a distance here, the extrusion end is the one that controls that. So in this case I'm going to make this 1800. Okay, now I'm not finished. I want to put a material associated with this, and for all of our projects, no matter what projects you're doing and you're using the correct TU Dublin template that I've developed, right, you're going to see the 0_AT materials. These are the materials you were to use, all right, not any other material. You're to use these materials. So I'm going to pick that one, the structural wall panel vertical, and I'll go OK. Now I'm going to go into 3D. No, I'll just finish that, right? Now, the model is not finished. Don't come over here just yet, right? Very important. This is the trick I'm going to show you here now. Okay, let's go into 3D and look at what we've got. Okay, so we've got that first part of that wall. All right, so I'm going to click out of that, but I'm going to go back into my north elevation. All right, now I can hit TL on the keyboard, right, just to bring that down. And with this still active, okay, do not touch finish model just yet. You're going to pick your solids and you're going to copy them. And you're going to go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. Now, we can always pick them again. And we can just center these a little bit better. Okay, well actually they are centered, they're not bad. All right, now you can see I've got my wall there back into the 3D. Now this is the important bit, and you have to follow this sequence or this is not going to work. What will make this a far more efficient process for us is if I could turn this into a family. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it. Okay, and you can see that I've got the grouping option here, so I'm going to create a group. All right, and we're going to call this CLT wall V001. All right, and I'm going to go OK. All right, now you can see the X and Y here, so let's go into a ground floor plan. Let's see if we can see that. Right, let's get in here. Yeah, now this is the intersection of the X and Y is your insertion point. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick that up and you're going to put that there. All right, let's go back into the north elevation. There, into the 3D, right? So that is the insertion point. And when you're creating these things, it's always a good idea to make sure that you've got the insertion point correct. All right, so that's that step. Now, again, we've not finished this. Don't go near that as yet. If you hit that, this is not going to work. We're going to go to File, Save As, right? Library, Group. Now click that. Now look at what we get here. All right, we can actually save this as a Revit family. All right, and if you follow this exact sequence, this is what's going to happen. So what I've done is that I have created a new folder here in my UK library. All right, it's in my UK library, or you can create it a new folder on your C drive in your all Revit folder or somewhere like that, somewhere where you know you're going to find that. So we're going to double click that. Okay, now it says name it group to save, same as the group name, and we are going to save that.